Good morning. I am Mia Cuyos. I am here to tackle about the execution and the martyrdom of Rizal. So, the execution of a hero, Dr. Giuseppe Rizal. Rizal's last day. Rizal spent his last 24 hours in his death cell, where he received members of his family and writes his letter of farewell, the first one to his second brother Ferdinand Blumentritt. He gave his sister Trinidad an old petroleum lamp and whispered to her in English that there is something inside the lamp. Thus is Rizal's famous farewell poem. The Mi ultimo adios, last farewell was found. Rizal said to have married his Irish girlfriend Josephine Bracken according to Catholic rites in the very last hours of his life. The execution of Dr. Jose Rizal. A few minutes before 7 in the morning of December 30, Dr. Jose Rizal walked from Fort Santiago to Bagumbayan Field, now the Luneta. His arms were tied behind his back. His head was erect, his conscience was clear, and there was a smile on his lips. Beside him walked Lieutenant Luis de Andrade, who had defended him in the trial, Fathers Villacara and March. Before and behind him were soldiers. So Rizal, ready and calm, took his position opposite his executioners. His last words were those of Jesus Christ: Consummatum est, it is finished. Then roll of drums and a volley of artillery accompanied the firing of the soldiers. And even at the moment of his fall, Rizal turns his body so that he ends up lying on his back, with his face to the sun. The elegant Spanish ladies wave their handkerchiefs, the gentlemen applaud. And while the Filipinos see the execution in enraged silence, calls of Viva España resound thunderously. Rizal was secretly buried in Paco Cemetery in Manila, with no identification on his grave. His sister Nancisa toured all possible grave sites and found freshly turned earth at the cemetery with guards posted at the gate. Assuming this could be the most likely spot, there never having any ground burials, she made a gift to the caretaker to mark the site R.P.J. Rizal's initials in reverse. So, Rizal's Martyrdom at Bagumbayan. Martyrdom at Bagumbayan, Rizal's life, works, and writings. After being court-martialed, Rizal turned to his cell in Fort Santiago to prepare his rendezvous with destiny. During his last 24 hours on earth, from 6 a.m. of December 29 to 6 a.m. of December 30, 1896, he was busy meeting visitors, which includes his family and friends. He was also able to write his last poem, his final contribution for the emancipation of the Filipino people. Rizal's prison cell martyrdom at Bagumbayan, December 29, 1896. At exactly 6 a.m., Captain Rafael Rodriguez read Rizal's death sentence. He will be shot at the back by firing squad at 7 a.m. in Bagumbayan. Exactly 7 a.m., Rizal was moved to the prison chapel where he spent his last moments. His first visitors were Jesuit priests. At exactly 7:15 a.m., Rizal reminded Father Luis Visa the statue of the Sacred Heart of Jesus, whom he carved as a student in Ateneo. Last hours of Rizal's for Martyrdom at Bagumbayan, December 29, 1896. At exactly 8 a.m., Rizal had a breakfast with Father Antonio Rizal. After breakfast, his attorney, Lieutenant Luis Taviel de Andrade came. At exactly 9 a.m., Father Federico Fiora arrived. Rizal reminded the priest of his earlier prophecy about Rizal. At exactly 10 a.m., more Jesuit priests had visited him. After then, he was interviewed by Santiago Martires for the newspaper El Heraldo de Madrid. At exactly 12 to 3:30 p.m., Rizal was left alone in his cell. He took his lunch and continued writing his farewell poem, which he hid in an alcohol cooking stove. He also wrote his last letter to Professor Blumentritt. At exactly 3 p.m., Father Vicente Balaguer returned to his cell and discussed with Rizal his retraction letter. Last hours of Rizal, 6 Martyrdom at Bagumbayan, December 29, 1896. At exactly 4 p.m., Theodora Alonso visited him. They had a very emotional encounter. Rizal gave the alcohol cooking stove to Trinidad, which contains his farewell poem. Several priests have visited him afterwards. At exactly 6 p.m., Don Selvino Lopez, Dean of the Manila Cathedral, visited him. At exactly 8 p.m., Rizal had his last supper. He told Captain Dominguez that he forgave his enemies, including the military judges. At exactly 9:30 p.m., Rizal was visited by Don Gaspar Castano, Fiscal of the Royal Audience de Manila. At exactly 10 p.m., the draft of the retraction letter sent by the anti-Filipino Archbishop Bernardino Nozaleda was given by Father Balaguer to Rizal for his signature. He had rejected it. December 30, 1896, exactly 3 a.m., Rizal heard Mass, confessed his sins, and took Holy Communion. At exactly 5:30 a.m., he took his last breakfast, after which he wrote his last letters for his family and his brother Pasiano. Last hours of Rizal, 11 Martyrdom of Bagumbayan, December 30, 1896. Letter to Pasiano. Now, I am about to die, and it is to you I dedicated my last lines, to tell you how sad I am to leave you alone in life, burdened with the weight of the family and our old parents. At exactly 5 a.m., Josephine Bracken arrived together with Rizal's sister, Josefa. With tears in her eyes, made him farewell. Rizal embraced her for the last time, and before she left, Rizal gave her a last gift, a religious book, Imitation of Christ by Father Tomas Kempes. Last hours of Rizal, 13 Martyrdom at Bagumbayan, December 30, 1896. At exactly 6 a.m., as the soldiers were getting ready for the death march to Bagumbayan, Rizal wrote his last letter to his beloved parents. Last hours of Rizal, 14 Martyrdom at Bagumbayan, December 30, 1896. My beloved father, pardon me for the pain with which I repay you, for sorrows and sacrifices for my education. I did not want it, nor did I prefer. Goodbye, Father. Goodbye. Letter to his father. To my very dear mother, Donna Chodora Alonso, 6 o'clock in the morning, December 30, 1896. Letter to his mother. At about 6:30 a.m., A trumpet sounded at Fort Santiago, a signal to begin the death march to Bagong Bayan. Rizal walked calmly with his defense counsel and two Jesuit priests at his sides. He was dressed elegantly in a black suit, black derby hat, black shoes, white shirt, and black tie. His arms were tied behind from elbow to elbow. There's a lot of spectators lining the street from Fort Santiago to Bagong Bayan. Death March to Bagong Bayan, 17 Martyrdom at Bagong Bayan. As he was going through the narrow Postigo gate, Rizal looked at the sky and said to one of the priests, "How beautiful it is today, Father. What morning could be more serene? How clear is Corregidor and the mountains of Cavite. On mornings like this, I used to take a walk with my sweetheart." While he was passing in front of the Ateneo, he saw the college towers above the walls. He asked, "Is that the Ateneo, Father?" "Yes," replied the priest. Rizal bade farewell to Father's March in Villa Clara and to his defender, Lieutenant Luis Taviel de Andrade. Although his arms were tied, he had firmly clasped their hands in parting. One of the priests blessed him and offered him a crucifix to kiss. He requested the commander of the firing squad that he be shot facing them. His request was denied, for the captain had implicit orders to shoot him at his back. Martyrdom of a Hero, 20 Martyrdom at Bagong Bayan. A Spanish military physician, Dr. Felipe Ruiz Castillo, asked his permission to feel his pulse. He was amazed to find it normal, showing that Jose Rizal was not afraid to die. The death ruffles of the drums filled the air. Above the drum beats, the sharp command, "Fire!" was heard, and the guns of the firing squad barked. Rizal, with supreme effort, turned his bullet-riddled body to the right and fell on the ground, dead with face upward, facing the morning sun. It was exactly 3 in the morning. Aged 35 years, 5 months and 11 days. Martyrdom of a Hero, 21 Martyrdom at Bagong Bayan. I die just when I see the dawn break through the gloom of the night to herald the day. And if color is lacking, my blood thou shalt take, poured out at need for thy sake, to die with its crimson to waking rain. Dr. Jose Rizal. To live is to be among men, and to be among men is to struggle. A struggle not only with them, but with oneself, with their passions, but also with one's own. Letter to his family, the Pitan. There can be no tyrants where there are no slaves taken from Alphalabis tourism. And that's all. Thank you for listening.